Welcome to another connection here on TKO8 Television. Dennis King and Heather Jones. It's always a pleasure, and we hope you enjoy our connection show each week as we bring in different organizations and talk about what's going on around the broadcast area that hopefully is important to all of those people out there. Boy, you look nice and colorful today.
Thanks. I'm not fluorescent.
No, you're not. But you had some really colorful outfits. Frenzy's got some neat stuff.
Yeah, well, bright colors.
Bright colors are in.
They're in.
Yeah. I think I've told you this before, but I was by your store the other day, and I really like the windows, the way you decorate and put all the colors. It draws people in to look and see what's going on.
First impression.
I like the shoes. Matches the dress.
The new Tom's shoes. Yeah, still 1 for 1, even if you buy these kind. They don't give the children this type of shoe.
No, I didn't know that.
But they do, those have been really popular this summer.
Yeah, so. I like the bright colors.
It's fun, because when you go into fall, you get more into the muted.
Right.
But I think this fall, you're supposed to, fluorescent accessories are supposed to be in.
Really?
So when you wear your colors like you do, you could add like a pop of color, like a lime green handbag if you would like.
Wow, handbag would be nice. Thanks for
so
that.
Keep that in mind.
Thanks for that marketing
maybe a fluorescent orange scarf.
Yeah. How about one of those bracelet things the guys wear,
You could just do a pop of color and you would be... I've been preaching to you for 2 years about fashion and I haven't seen any changes yet.
It's been pretty slow.
So
I appreciate
not sure you're picking up what I'm putting down.
I appreciate all the information you've been giving me. I'm a little set in my ways.
Are you filing that away somewhere?
Put that in the file folder and I'll bring it up at a later date, I guess. Right. Boy, it's been hot, hasn't it?
It's ridiculous. We're going to have to get some rain.
It's terrible. I mean, I'm sure everybody in the viewing area, we've got burn bans. Well, most of the state of Arkansas has burn bans. And it's, we hadn't had any really good rain since back in
February.
March. Yeah, 1st of March.
Well, and the farmers are having to feed hay.
Yeah.
That's a big deal because you're feeding hay in June. So that causes a lot of problems.
Lots of issues. Water tables are low.
And then they didn't get any hay because there was no rain to make the hay.
Right. So it's a real issue. It's a serious situation.
Well, like Valley Springs, waters and
a lot of people are having to ration water a little bit out in the rural areas, and it's a tough deal. I tell you, we hope we can get some rain before long. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back in a moment. And speaking of rain, we're going to talk about gardening a little bit around the area here on Connection.
When I went to Dental Creations on the square, I had been to 2 or 3 different places, and I could tell right away that was the place I wanted to be. Being a performer in Branson, I was desperately needing something done to my teeth, but I didn't have no room for finances, and she showed me this package plan, and now I'm making monthly payments on my new dentures, and very affordable. If anyone is looking for dentures, I recommend Dental Creations down on the square, because that's the place to go.
Back on Connection here on TKO8 Television. Our first guest in the studio today, a person that I haven't met, I don't think you knew, but Brett Deiser, did I get the name correct,
yep,
Brett?
Yep.
And actually, Brett, you work for the city. I mean, you're the city gardener, I guess I should say, for doing a lot of things. And I'm glad they, you don't think about it, but the city has a lot of property, that needs to be taken care of, particularly around City Hall and all the different, to make it, presentable to the public and people visiting our town and so forth. And so we're glad you came today. We're going to talk about a couple of different things that you're involved in. I guess maybe to start with, I know you've got a distribution of some bulbs and plants. Let's talk about that program a little bit.
Sure.
Okay.
America Responds with Love has sent a donation of about 10 pallets of flower bulbs and tubers and blueberry and strawberry plants, hostas, daylilies, and several things like that.
Right.
And originally we were intended to share those with people in Springfield and Branson and other areas that they had canvassed, but so far it's fallen to us.
Wow.
because they've gotten a lot of thank you but no thank yous, and the way this organization, I believe, is kind of structured. They get a donation when somebody has something to donate to them, and they've got to immediately distribute it because they don't have storage facilities for it.
Okay.
And so this came to us last week, and we'll very shortly be having a very serious work day, trying to get these these things at least healed into temporary beds.
Wow.
Until we can find permanent places for them.
Gosh, with the situation with the heat and drought and
that's
tough. Isn't
that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. But we've got a space out at the city farm that's close to water that I can get many things put into, and in general, a lot of the stuff that they're sending us is going to be dormant. That they've sent us is going to be dormant, and so even just putting it in the ground and keeping the soil relatively moist will suffice.
Like, for instance, I'm not real green thumb oriented, when it comes to this. But a bulb. I mean, I always thought you planted bulbs in the fall, basically.
Well,
I guess you should. But will a bulb make it with this kind of heat if you keep a little moisture?
Yeah. The bulb will be fine. As a matter of fact, depending on the varieties, you either plant in the spring or the fall.
Okay.
And some of these, like the gladiolas, they prefer to be planted in the spring.
Okay.
But even now would not be a bad time to plant them.
Well, they won't. Will they come up?
Yes, I believe the gladiolas will come up as soon as I plant them and start putting water to them.
They'll
start coming up.
Wow.
And they'll be. I think they'll survive quite well. The thing that I'm most concerned about right now is the blueberries and the strawberries that have come, because this is a very bad time to be planting blueberries and strawberries. Now they will, I believe they will make it, but it's going to be a real stressor on them, and it's just going to be kind of touch and go, I think, until fall.
Are those plants?
Yes, those are actual plants.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
The strawberries probably not as critical as the blueberries, but we've got. I believe the Fenton berry is going to harbor about 90 blueberries for us in their greenhouse, and keep those there. But I still have several hundred more blueberries to do something with.
So how many pallets of stuff did you wind up getting?
I got about 10 pallets of stuff, and the bulbs are on pallets that are stacked with plastic crates about 5 or 6 feet tall.
Wow.
And so my rough estimate is I've got about 90,000 bulbs and tubers.
90,000?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
We're going to have a lot of flowers here in Harrison.
We've become a flower capital of the world all of a sudden.
Well, there's lots of opportunities to use those here in town.
I started to say that would be if you could find, if you had a location and they could survive. If you could do something within the city or something, or maybe an area the city owns.
Well, the city has some plans involving median sections of roadways that are basically kind of unused for traffic, and they're going to set up some flower beds in these areas as time and money allows.
That would be nice if you could keep them alive and keep them in somewhere where you could transplant them and do it at the proper time.
And as I said, we're going to create some nursery beds at the city farm.
Fantastic.
And then we'll also have the strawberries and the blueberries are all going to the community garden that is located across the bypass from Miller's Hardware.
Right.
The donating organization, America Responds with Love, would like to see the majority of the produce from those go to Share and Care.
Right.
As our local food harvest.
That's good.
And the community garden already has a standing arrangement with Share and Care for a portion of each gardener's produce that they're willing to donate.
Well, that's good.
Well,
that's good. Well, good luck in getting this stuff. We got about 4 minutes. I want to talk a little bit about a program that you're kind of thinking about to help maybe the elderly or indigent people in the area, real quick?
I posted a thing on Facebook asking who would be willing to spend one weekend a month helping the elderly and the indigent with yard work.
Okay.
I have a belief that if there's something that's worth complaining about, there's something worth doing something about it. And I've listened to some people talk about the state of some people's yards, and it gets me to thinking. I've known a lot of people who have been less capable, and they may not. These people that have poor yards may not be able to take care of them. And I posted a question: who could help me organize it, and how would we choose the people that we would help?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm really looking for people to kind of help me out with this, because this is one of those things that one person can't completely do something on their own, but if several of us can get together, we can really make an improvement in someone's life.
Right.
You know, there's a thing that I say that I kind of firmly believe. I live to serve.
Right.
And this is something I think I can help with and make a difference.
Yeah.
If I can find other like-minded people who are willing to spend one weekend a month.
That's not a lot, really.
No, not really, not really. And the house that my wife and I just bought is a good example. It's a beautiful house. It's a lovely yard. But the couple we bought it from were getting older, and they felt they couldn't care for it as much. And I think this would be something that would keep somebody in a comfortable place maybe a little bit longer.
Right.
Than having to go somewhere unfamiliar.
Right, and make them even more proud of their own property.
Mm-hmm.
And people, it's self-esteem, and whether it's whether it's your clothes you're wearing or your yard next to someone else who maybe has the time or maybe healthier that can take care of.
And if you can't take care of it yourself, it is expensive to pay other people to do it.
Yeah, people can't afford that.
Yeah, I mean that's in the summer. Well, no rain. This summer it's not that expensive, but the grass is not growing. But it can cost you an extra $200 a month,
absolutely,
or more.
A lot of
to
people
keep
can't
your
afford
yard
it. Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay.
Who would they contact? Yeah. Would they contact you?
Yeah, they could contact me. I have they could send me an email at brettdeiser.com, brettdeiser@yahoo.com, and that's BRETTDEISER at yahoo.com. If they can get a note to me by way of Public Works. I work for Public Works, grounds and maintenance
in Harrison.
In Harrison, they could leave a message with the mayor's office.
Very good.
And I could get that.
Okay. Well, I think it's. I like your concept. I think it's good. And anytime we can help people that are less fortunate, or maybe the elderly that just would like to do their own work but they can't do it.
I believe that we all serve, and we either serve to the better or we serve to the ill, and this is something I think would serve to the better. Good idea. I'm glad you came up with it, Brett. Thank you so much for coming in today, and good luck with getting rid of all those 90,000 plus bulbs and plants. And we hope you do. And I get real quick, like if somebody was wanting some of this, they're welcome to use them
and get a hold of you. Maybe
get a hold of me through the city as well. We just ask that they maybe take some pictures of where they put it, and we share it with America Responds,
because they want to.
And
very good.
That's very.
Thank you
very much.
I appreciate you coming in, Brett, very much. So if you need any bulbs or any plants, I know you like to get out in the garden.
Well, actually, we have tons of flowers on our house.
You do?
Yes.
Oh, so you won't need any more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my husband, he takes care of that.
He's the gardener?
Yeah, he's the gardener.
I said you don't need any more, right?
I probably don't. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on the first part of our show today. Brett Deiser talking about a big project they've got here. And if you like more information, go by and see Brett down at City Hall. Leave him a message down there, and they'll get the information to him. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment. We're going to talk to a couple of gentlemen from the VFW here on Connection.
Hi, my name is Tommy Haas, and I'm a pioneer baseball player at North Arkansas College.
Our athletes excel on the field and in the classroom. Last season, we were ranked #1 in the nation. There's a lot of fun student activities and organizations to join, and the education I'm receiving is first rate as well. So come on, check out North Ark, and enroll this semester.
Registration is easy. Enroll for the fall semester at North Ark. Weekdays from 8:30 to 4:30, June 8th through August 24th. Classes start August 27th. For quality, value, and convenience, think North Ark first. We're your college.
Back on Connection here on TKO8 Television. Dennis King and Heather Jones. The second part of our show today has to do with the local VFW. And we have two gentlemen in the studio, Rick Erwin and Michael Alsobrook. Did I get that right, Michael?
Yes, you did.
Thank you very much for coming in. Rick, you've been in here several times. In fact, I'm thinking about giving you a check monthly. You've been coming in so much recently.
I'll donate it to the VFW.
I knew you had the answer there.
Yes. We're going to talk about 4th of July. It's right around the corner. You guys have a festival or event planned?
Yeah.
The Post 2881 here in Harrison, along with a lot of help from American Legion Post 44, is doing a week-long celebration from the 2nd through the 6th, from noon to about 8 p.m. unless we get more people that want to hang out longer, and just to celebrate the whole week long for the 4th of July.
At the
post.
At your post there. So just a lot of activities going on during that whole time frame. That's good. That's actually...
Now, is everyone invited?
Yes.
I mean, the entire community can join?
Yeah, this is, even though they're service organizations and people think, oh, that's members only, we can't have guests in, so this is for the entire community. We want to invite everybody that wants to celebrate with us. Needless to say, veterans hold 4th of July near and dear to their hearts, so we would like to have anybody and everybody that wants to come in there and enjoy it with us.
Good. Perfect. So what are we talking about, activities?
Just your typical backyard barbecue. We're going to have hot dogs, sodas, pool tables set up, dart boards, music. Just a good old time. Have people come down there, get out of the heat for a little while, and just enjoy the 4th of July.
Yeah.
And it's all week long. Now, that's a little different. Why did you guys decide to do it all week long?
Well, since the 4th of July falls on Wednesday this year, there's a lot of people that's not going to be able to get off on that day. So with it being all week long, that's 5 chances for people to come out and celebrate the 4th of July.
Yeah, it's good because it's the middle of the week. It's on Wednesday this year, so it's right in the middle of the week. Recently, in fact, Rick was in here. We talked about the moving of the VFW from out at the Legion Hut, which was on 7 South. Now you're at another location. So let's reiterate where you are, and it's convenient, real convenient for people. Rick, why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, Dennis, last time we talked about, it's like a business, and you have to treat it like a business. And location's everything.
Right.
We were way out south. Since the flood of '61, we lost the building here in town. In fact, it's where the American Legion used to sit, where the City Hall sits now, until the flood washed it away. The city bought the land, and Mr. Harness donated the land where we're at now, out on South 7. That's the American Legion property. The VFW has been meeting there as well, and at times the DAV, the Disabled Veterans of America, have met out there. But it's too far out where we felt like we're out of the community. We weren't in touch with the community. So the VFW had some funds, not a lot, but we had a little bit of funds. We rented the building in town, and it's been a real success since that time. Lots of people have come in, didn't even know we were there. We're over at the Ranch House Plaza, 813 Suite Number B, and folks, even the community, are welcome to stop by. In fact, right now we've got, because of the heat and the weather, we've put out in the paper and the radio stations, if anybody needs a little relief from the heat, 104 today, 105 tomorrow.
It seems like ongoing.
It's air conditioned in there. We've got lots of activities. So if some elderly person or anybody just needs relief, come on over there. We're open from 10 in the morning till about 6 in the evening, and you can stop in and get out of the heat.
That's good. The VF, I know a lot of people may be a little confused about when you were at the Legion hut, you've really tried to combine some organizations. Maybe let's talk about that just a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yeah, these organizations are they're experiencing a real downsizing. Unfortunately, the World War II veterans are passing away in great numbers each day. The Korean veterans as well. Even some of the Vietnam veterans, and we're trying to pull in the younger folks. And so, because of the economy and because of the economic struggle everybody's having, we've decided to kind of bring the two organizations together. Not crossover in their meetings. We still have each bylaws and that sort of thing and requirements. But in terms of the facilities that we use, it just makes better sense, business sense, to hold both of the organizations in the same building, meeting times at different times. That way we can keep more of the funds that we do have available to the veterans in the community that need those funds. So instead of spending all the money on a building, we'd like to try to put the money back out to where we're to our goal. Not only veterans, but communities, the activities in the community as well.
I think it's a great idea. I mean, to have the Legion and the VFW kind of combine resources, if you will, and still keep the two entities separate. Like you say, you've got different bylaws and maybe rules or whatever, and membership. But I'd say the membership, probably dual memberships in many cases where you've got belonging to. Michael, let's talk a little bit, if you would, about you've been in Afghanistan, I think. Is that tell a little bit about how long were you in the military? And
well, I was active duty for 4 years, from September until about last October, and then my contract ran out with that, and then I joined the Arkansas National Guard. When I was on active duty, I was in Alaska for 3 years. That's where I deployed to Afghanistan from, and then after we got back, stayed there for about a year, and went to Fort Lewis, Washington, where I got out of the military, or active duty, I should say. Came back here because this is where my wife was from.
Okay.
I'd visit on leave, and I really liked the area, so decided whenever I got out, I wanted to move back up here. So,
let me ask you a question. Rick was talking about many of the World War II veterans and even Korean War and even certainly Vietnam era. Young military guys and gals like yourself that have just came out of the areas where unfortunately a lot of our young people have lost their lives in abroad, particularly in Iraq and Afghanistan and so forth. What are you seeing? How are you seeing the public react to young veterans coming back? Is it a warm? I mean, do you think, we went through, in my time, it was the Vietnam War, and a lot of people had even kind of hatred toward veterans that went and, put up an opportunity to lose their lives. Many did. They call it a conflict. We've kind of had the same situation with you. I mean, it's not a war, not like World War II or World War I or Korean War. They don't use the word war.
Right.
But what are you seeing coming back as a young military guy?
For the most part, like the majority, it's a very warm welcome. It's like, they might not support what we're doing, but they support their troops.
Right.
You're going to find your oddball out there who's going to be, bad-mouthing soldiers, or I don't support anything you do. Sure. But for the most part, as from my experience, it's been a very warm welcome.
And Rick, maybe you could talk about this just a little bit, both of you. It seems like we went through a period of time where I'm not sure the United States had the patriotism that we had years ago. We kind of went through a lull. I kind of see that coming back. Do you see it coming back, or I'll ask both of you there?
Yeah, that's a great question, Dennis. Actually, I've had kind of a unique experience. I've started out in the regular Army during the Vietnam War. And then I had a break in service when I got out, established my career, and then I went into the National Guard, like Mike did. Mm-hmm. And then I worked the National Guard for another 20-some-odd years as a flight engineer on Chinook helicopters. And the reason that was unique is I saw what was going on during Vietnam, which was the military was actually had a lot of problems at that time.
Yes.
Then I saw what happened in Desert Storm, and I was very, very impressed with the young troops and the way the military behaved and performed and executed their missions. they call it military bearing. It was just wonderful. And then I saw there was a downturning at one point where they started downsizing the military again, and then we came into this recent conflict. And now, at the beginning, we were a little shy, and then it's starting to come up to where the military right now, just wonderful, wonderful young people, men and women, and the families that go through absolute the worst times of their life while their loved ones are away. So it's I've seen this ebbing of the whole thing, and these young guys nowadays, I can't say enough about them. And he's a little bit humble, but this guy has a CIB, which is a combat infantry badge. That's not given to anybody. You have to be in the infantry number 1, which means you're going to be the one that's carrying the rifle to the front. And then once you get that rifle, once you're in combat, you get a reef around it. So when you see a young troop or even an old troop that has this musket rifle in blue with the reef around it, it means they're the real deal. They're the guys that went forward. And the rest of us, we just support him. So Mike here, he's the real deal, and my hat's off to him.
Yeah, it is. Patriotism, I think, is something we all should entrust ourselves in, and we should honor those who made it back, and of course the ultimate sacrifice that didn't make it back, but the families that have had to endure, and it's why we're free today. So I've always had hats off to anyone. I never had to go. I was doing the Vietnam eras when I grew up. I had back then we had lottery numbers. I had a low lottery number, passed my physical, but they never called me. I would have went, but they never called. But for those who did, and I had friends who didn't make it back, and you were in that time frame too. But the young people today, and we have a lot more female people in the military today that have lost their lives. And look at the sacrifice, not only that, of course, you made, but female leaving their children and going and being gone for a year, 18 months, whatever. It's just you have to.
Wonderful.
You got to say, and I want to shake their hand every time I see one of them. So
good.
We appreciate the fact that both of you gentlemen have spent your time in making sure that we have the freedom to do what we're doing right here today. And
feels pretty good, doesn't it?
It feels fantastic. Okay, we've got about a minute. Let's remind everybody again about the big deal coming up at the VFW in Harrison. It is, make sure I get the date right, starts on July 2nd, runs through July 6th from 12 noon to 8 p.m. Is that right? So it's a whole week celebration, and just come out to the VFW.
And you don't really have to worry about the heat because it's inside.
Wow.
Most of it's going to be inside.
That's fantastic. Kind of a picnic setting, and you don't have to be a military or ex-military person to come by and enjoy. You're almost saying thank you to other people who should be saying thank you to you, but
just real quick, Lions Club, big shout out. We've dedicated a day to them, one to the Rotary, one to the Kiwanis, and one to the Patriot Guard. So hopefully they'll come by and say hi, and people that are there can thank them for what they do for veterans.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you guys for coming in. Michael, thank you for your service to our country, and thanks for coming in, being on the show, and keeping Rick lined up here today.
Right.
Rick, as always, thank you for keeping us.
Thank you, Dennis, for letting us come out and make a shout out.
You always can. We appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the show today. Great information, two entities here that need your help and also support. VFW, go out and support them. They're right out there, easy to find in the Ranch House Plaza. Don't forget about the week of the 4th of July. Do a little celebrating in the cool, and they'll enjoy having you out there. Hope you have a good week.
Thanks.
Keep frenzy going down there. Keep the air conditioner turned down low.
Absolutely.
We'll see you again next time on Connection.